Real Madrid have officially announced the transfer of Jude Bellingham coming to the club for a fee of around 103 million plus add-ons. That looks to be around 30 million. So about 130 million when it's all said and done. Look, let's get straight into this. G, what is your initial reaction to Jude Bellingham officially being a Real Madrid player?
I used to pray for times like this. Welcome Jude Bellingham to the greatest football club in the world. I've already gone ahead and pre-ordered my Real Madrid kit, and I just said put the 15 on it already, because this is how much of a game changer a player of Jude Bellingham's stature is. He is a winner. He's been nothing but world class, and I highly respect, because before any of these transfer links even happening, I thought it was a foregone conclusion. Oh, he's just going to go back home to the Premier League, because that's what English players usually do. They go back home because it's a bit easier. You're going back home. But he chose the hardest club, the most demanding football club with the most demanding fandom in Europe, Real Madrid. They have the highest expectations out of anybody. It's uncomparable. If you don't win every single trophy, it's a failure in everybody's eyes. You get criticized for not winning everything. And Jude saw that and decided, I want that. And even our own players, like Tony Cruz, comes out and says, stuff like, we had someone that came in here for a lot of money where his career came to rest, because that's how much pressure is on these players, that you were so good over there, now you have to be even better here. So Jude is willing to take that pressure on. I highly respect it. I like the mentality. I think he has true leadership. I could see him being a captain at Real Madrid in that midfield, because, my God, well, I know we touched upon it. That midfield, I'm going to call it right now, that might be the greatest midfield of all time. Jude Bellingham, Camavinga, and Tchouameni, I swear to God, that's the most complete midfield I've ever seen on paper. I would be absolute drop dead if that is somehow a flop midfield. It's impossible. So I haven't been this excited to see a player suit up for the first time and make his debut in a very, very long time. So I can't wait for it.
Yeah, look, I wholeheartedly agree with a lot of what you said here. To me, this is a statement of intent by Real Madrid and Florentino Perez, going ahead and getting Jude Bellingham, arguably the best young midfielder, maybe even best young player in the world right now, and saying, you know what, we're going to go ahead and get him, snatching him away from all the Premier League clubs who wanted him, because realistically, every single Big Six Premier League club was in form, wanted to sign him, was trying to sign him, and Real Madrid said, you know what, we're the biggest club in the world. We're going to go ahead and take him. And that's exactly what they did. To me, it's a huge statement of intent, because realistically, Florentino Perez wasn't happy that he got spanked by Man City 4-0 in that second leg and ultimately lost 5-1 on aggregate. That's unacceptable for a club like Real Madrid. And they said, you know what? We have to go ahead and make some crucial key signings to close that gap. So next season, we can go ahead and try and bring home number 15 to the club, because ultimately, if you don't win the Champions League every single season at Real Madrid, they view it as a failure. We talked about it. Carlo Ancelotti won the Champions League. They didn't win it this year, and fans were calling for his head. There was serious rumors that Ancelotti was going to get sacked just because he didn't win the Champions League. That is how high the expectations are, and that's why I did like what you said about the mentality that Jude Bellingham showed going to Real Madrid, because I agree. The mentality that Jude Bellingham shows at 19 years old, saying, I'm going to take the leap of faith and go to Real Madrid now, it speaks volumes about Jude Bellingham's character and his mentality as a player. He is destined for greatness. He is destined for great things. I think he's going to be brilliant at Real Madrid. I think, look, realistically, he's going to be a staple in that Real Madrid midfield for the next 15 years. No doubt about it. Maybe even more than that. I mean, Modric is playing at 37. He's still
We,
looks
we,
like a spring chicken.
we
So
saw
who
what he did
knows how long
today. I
Jude
mean,
Bellingham is going
God
to be.
damn.
Obviously, knock on wood, hopefully no injuries happen or anything like that. But for me, this is a no-brainer signing. And, when it was basically confirmed that Jude Bellingham was going to leave Borussia Dortmund, I was like, there is no way Jude Bellingham goes for anything less than 150 million. The market was going crazy. And I'm sitting here like, Jude Bellingham, he's English. He's 19 years old. He's basically already world class. He's guaranteed to be a fucking banger transfer. And Real Madrid went ahead and got him for 103 million plus add-ons. That's a steal. Obviously, I saw some people saying if you pay over 100 million, it can't be a steal. This is a 19-year-old midfielder that is guaranteed to be a staple in your midfield for at least the next 15 years, barring injury, this is about as surefire as it gets. And that's why I really rate this move from Real Madrid. I think that this, obviously, they still have a couple other holes in the squad, but I really think that Real Madrid are going to close that gap from Man City. And like I said in the previous video, let's just go ahead and cut to the chase. Let's just have our Man City versus Real Madrid Champions League final, because that's what we're getting. Realistically, Real Madrid are reloading like crazy, and Man City are obviously still going to be good. These are obviously going to be the two best teams in the world next season, but not to take the spotlight away from Real Madrid here. Great signing, and I think it's a good move for all parties.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, it's the fourth all-time transfer of someone, I believe it's under 22, somewhere around that age. I mean, the only people that have ever been more than him is João Felix, Ousmane Dembele, and obviously Kylian Mbappe. And 2 and 3, not looking so good. So compared to those guys, I think it's a great deal. I mean, we both were on it. We'd be surprised if we went for anything under 150 million and they were able to get it 103 plus add-ons. But those add-ons are basically like forfeit. You know, it's going to happen. You're going to win trophies with Jude Bellingham. So you might as well give them that money now.
Yeah.
It's not like, there's no sugarcoating it. So he's going to end up being 130 million. But I still think that's a great price because, look, there's a point where we didn't know where was the ceiling. Where's going to be the cap of how much a player is going to cost. And I do like that it's kind of capped out as we're not going to see a player be sold for 300 million. That's not happening. Thank God, because we never really knew after the Neymar to PSG
thing,
and the Mbappe, we didn't know where's the ceiling to all this. But it's looking like it's found its little place there for great players, great young players, all around that 100 to 150. And truly transcendent players like Kylian Mbappe can be a 200-odd million. But, I think it's a great move. Real Madrid do still have a desperate gap to fill at that number 9 role, almost an impossible task to take. But I know a couple guys that can help fix that. But this is about Jude, and I think it's just something you had to do. Like how we said, a player of this caliber is out there. He's available. Real Madrid have to go get him. Yeah. And I think they owe this to the fans for not making any moves in January, even though it was clear as day players had to get signed. We were in desperate need of a right back and a left back and depth. We had no depth. There's at a point to where we didn't know if we'd have 11-man squad. It was not looking good, but this is a good step in the right direction, and I'm very, very excited to see that trio, walk out for the first time.
Yeah. And look, I want to go ahead and make this point here because Real Madrid and Florentino Perez are absolutely cooking. This Madrid young core for the next potential 10, 15 years, whatever, is absolutely nuts. Rodrigo, 22 years old. Vinicius Jr., 22 years old. Tchouaméni, 23 years old. Camavinga, 20 years old. Jude Bellingham, 19 years old. Fran Garcia, 23 years old. And obviously Endrick, who's going to come in when he turns 18. He's only 16 years old. And also, Fede Valverde is only 24 years old. Militao is only 25 years old. And then obviously the main man that they're trying to sign right now, Kylian Mbappe, is only 24 years old. Madrid are absolutely cooking. They are literally set. It's going to get to the point where they really don't even have to make any more signings because they're set for the next 10 years.
I mean, they just have to work on small little
changes here and there, but they're not going to have to spend the big bucks really anymore because this young core, their midfield is set. Their attack is about to be set. Their defense is pretty solid now. This is absolutely wild. Like Real Madrid, you might get to 20 Champions Leagues real soon. And I'm not even joking. This team is loaded, man. This team is going to be nuts. And the thing is, these players are not even close to their prime. Vinicius Jr. is already one of the best in the world. Rodrigo, we're seeing the flashes. Tchouaméni, when he got the chance to play, obviously Ancelotti, he was a bit out of favor, but when he was playing, was looking great. Camavinga, oh my word, what a player we saw him turn into last season. Yeah. Endrick is supposed to be the next big thing. Obviously, Jude Bellingham. This is absolutely wild. It's ridiculous. Real Madrid, you just have to tip your cap. You just have to, round of applause because what they're doing right now is a statement of intent, not only for right now that they're coming, but that they're going to be here in the future. They ain't going away anytime soon. Coming. Get used to seeing Real Madrid continuing to win. I mean, we're already used to it at this point, but it ain't going away anytime soon. If you're fucking Barca fan or whatever, you should be shaking right now. Let's just be honest.
And the only criticism that we do have is that Real Madrid just buy all their talent. We don't really develop, but that's kind of fallen out of football. I mean, that's kind of died. This is in the 90s no more, where you can just all your great players come from your academy. That's unfortunately not how it works, but
Yeah, you do see it with Barca and a couple other
a
clubs here and
couple,
there,
yeah, a
but
couple
it
are
just doesn't
sneak in
happen as
there,
much as it used to. You know what
not
I
as
mean?
much.
Yeah.
And I think has there ever been anything this? I don't think this has ever happened in football where literally we're almost a couple years out from that three-peat Real Madrid team, and you look at the ages and you're like, wow, how are they possibly gonna all these players are gonna be going out at the same time? How are
Yeah.
they possibly going to recharge and get new
Reload.
players, reload? I've never. It's almost unfathomable how they found almost every perfect piece.
It's actually wild because like
Each
that.
player
Yeah,
is a staple. Like
for sure.
the midfield's done. Like the
It's done.
midfield, you don't have to look at it for literally the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I've
They
never
have
seen
they
that,
have four players who should be starters. You know what I mean?
especially after having arguably the greatest trio of
Yeah,
all
exactly.
time.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this in sports. Period.
Yeah, they,
I
they
mean,
they could go from having Cruz, Modric, Casemiro, which is one
it
of,
is
if not the best trio
it
of all
is the
time, to
most
having
seamless just transition of all time.
yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure,
it's unbelievable, but that's just what Real Madrid always do. I mean, they
for sure.
always keep themselves, in the fight or
Yeah,
winning.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like what they're doing right now is just absolutely wild. I mean, it's almost like Florentino Perez got on his Xbox or PS5 or whatever and said, "I'm loading up FIFA career mode." That's what he's doing right now, but he's doing
This
it
is
in real
what this
life.
is what I did in Kareem. I was like, this shit can't happen, and it's literally happening now.
Literally, I remember you started up your Real Madrid career mode, and the first thing you told me you did was sign Jude Bellingham and Mbappe, and that's what they're doing
Jude
this transfer
and
window.
Mbappe. Yeah, and that's what they got Jude, and now Mbappe's in heavy talks, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? This is impossible. But
Literally, if you're doing a Real Madrid career mode in the future, you don't even have to sign anybody.
yeah, that's
You
anybody.
already got all your guys. You
Yeah,
know what I
like
mean?
you might as well not even pick them because it's just gonna be boring. Everybody's
Yeah,
already there.
yeah,
But I mean, I thought it would be impossible to when Cristiano left, when now Benzema's gone, and all these legends have left. But it's just been so seamless. Ronaldo gone, we get Vinny, and Modric is already getting older. Cruz is getting older. Not Cruz. Casemiro's gone. We got Shumani. Stuff players like that. We got Camavinga there to be able to step up already when those two eventually leave.
yeah.
Like it's just incredible. But I'm very excited to see these guys develop, and God have mercy when they're all in their primes, because that's how Real Madrid three-peated.
Yeah.
Was they had players around the same age and they all peaked at the
At the same
exact same time.
Yeah, and I mean with the right manager, because obviously that's the only question mark that I see with this Real Madrid squad going forward is that I think this is the last season of Ancelotti, and I don't know who they get after that. But obviously that's not a conversation for now. You know what I mean? I think that obviously with this squad as it is, with Carlo Ancelotti as manager, they compete next season, and then realistically, whoever comes in, obviously you need a great manager. Don't get me wrong, but this might be the easiest job in football. You know what I mean? With this team, with these young players that are only getting better, whoever gets the job after Ancelotti basically just can say, all right, y'all go out there and just play. Because really, Ancelotti right now just has passed the ball to Vinicius and hope it works.
No, but
The tactic there's not that much tactics with Real Madrid. There doesn't really need to be. It's been working. So, I don't know. That's really the only question mark for me. But it's Real Madrid. They're always going to be able to get top tier managers. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if they're at a club vacant. You know what I mean? Whatever. Real Madrid has the pull. If Real Madrid come calling, you're picking up the phone. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. It will always be that way. It's just how it works.
Absolutely.
But obviously, this is not really a developing story anymore. But Real Madrid's transfer window, this is obviously a continuing developing story. Obviously, Mbappe, there's new news coming out every day. It seems like it's going to be the saga of this transfer window, just like it was in 2021. So we're obviously going to keep following that, going to keep following Real Madrid's transfer news. And, do you have any other final words you wanted to say about Jude?
I think that wraps it up for me.
Yeah, so it wraps it up for me as well. So I think we can go ahead and get out of here. So I'm Zach.
I'm G.
And we'll see you next time for another video on the channel. Peace.